With us this evening. Tonight, we are coming to you live from Orlando, Florida. Before we get started, we'd like to close out the month with a special thank you to our sponsor this month, Fred Segal, for their support. If you've never heard of them, Fred Segal is the iconic retailer for fashion in Los Angeles. And if you visit our website, there's a special discount code for Girls Night Live people. I will also drop that link in the chat. But for tonight, we're very excited to have with us self-taught baker Laura Villegas. She created the Sugary Times Bakery as a way to fulfill her passion while spending time with her family. I heard her say today that in only 2 years, she has taught over 700 people how to do baking. And there's no better time than before Christmas than to learn some of her magic tricks. A very warm welcome to Girls Night Live, Laura Villegas.
Hello. Thank you, Shelly. How are you? Well, thank you everybody for being here with me. My name is Laura Villegas. I'm from Venezuela, but right now we're streaming from Orlando, Florida. I've been here for about 8 years, but I discovered this passion for the decorating cookies about two years and a half. Tonight, we're just gonna have fun. I'm gonna teach you how to decorate different styles of Christmas cookies in an easy way. Don't worry if you don't have right now the colors that I'm gonna be using. If you have just 1, 2, 3 colors, that's fine. I just want you to understand that decorating cookie is just having fun, practice if you wanna do it as a business, and be creative, okay? You can do whatever you want in those cookies if you are creative. So with no more talking, let's get to action and let's start decorating our Christmas cookies. Okay, so I have here, as you see, I have the Christmas bulb, our stocking, the Christmas tree, a Christmas ornament, and this one that I have here is just an example of what we're gonna do in this one. This one that you see is halfway done, and I'm gonna explain you why. So the first one that I'm gonna do is the Christmas bulb. Okay, I don't know if you guys are the traditional Christmas colors. I like to mix them, and I'm gonna be using these colors for our decoration, okay? I'm gonna decorate this Christmas bulb in one color here and in a different color here. But what I'm gonna do down here is that I'm gonna give it a little bit of texture or 3D dimension. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start doing the part down here. For that, I'm gonna be using white. As you see here, I use piping bags tipless. Why? It just gives me, I control the time. I don't spend so much time cleaning piping tips or bottles, okay? So what I do is I have all my royal icing here ready to use. And what I'm gonna do is just cut a little bit of the tip of my piping bag. I'm gonna cut it here. And we're gonna start with the flooding. There's 2 main consistencies in the decorating cookies. One is a piping consistency, and the other one is the flooding consistency. The flooding consistency is this one that I'm gonna use, and this is the one that we use for the base of our cookie. The piping is gonna be this one that you see it's in 3D, it's in dimension, and it doesn't go over the cookie. It just stays the way you put it in the cookie, that's the way it's gonna stay. So this one that I'm gonna use first is flooding. How am I supposed to do the base for my cookie? I should outline my cookie and then start flooding the inside. Okay. If you see there's a spot that don't have icing, don't worry about it because I'm gonna use this. This is called a scribe. This is our best tool or our main tool, I'll say, for decorating cookies. If you don't have this, you can just a stick, plastic, wood, whatever you have at home. And I'm gonna do is just cover those little spots that don't have icing and try to make it all smooth. If you see those little points that I have here, they're just gonna go away because this is the flooding consistency. But because I like to give it a little bit of something to the cookie, I'm gonna use a little bit of sugar, just sugar sprinkles. I'm gonna put it here, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna grab a spoon and just put it over what I just flood in the cookie. Take away the excess and look at it. Okay, this is gonna give it a little bit of sparkle, a little bit, a touch, a different touch. And now I'm gonna do the bulb in pink. If you are more into the traditional colors for Christmas, you can do it red, green, or whatever color you have at home. Look at this. I did my outline, and then I'm gonna do the flooding, the inside of my cookie. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about those little spaces because I'm gonna use my scribe to cover those. Okay. We have almost done our first cookie. As you see, I did it very fast, very easy. If you want to give it a little bit of a touch, you can do a point here. And that's going to give it like the lighting of the bulb. Look at this. We have the first one ready. Those little things that you see in your cookie, you're going to fix it with your scribe or whatever stick you have at home. Look, this is the one that I'm using. Okay, so we have the first one ready. That was easy, that was fast. What did you do if the icing goes on the outside of the cookie by mistake? That's a good question. If for any chance it just overflowed, what you can do is with your scribe or with a knife or with whatever palette you have at home, you're gonna do this on the side of your cookie, but you're gonna let it rest a little bit. Why? If you do it right away, it's still gonna be too fresh and it's gonna be still overflowing. So just let it rest a little bit, let it dry a little bit, and then you're gonna do that. You're gonna clean the sides of the cookie, okay? Or you can just take the whole thing away with a paper towel, like this one. You just grab the paper towel and just take it away and start from the beginning, okay? So you have two options. We have the first one ready. Our Christmas bulb is done. We're gonna keep going with the stocking. Okay, let me move it this way. I'm gonna do the stocking in blue and white. Let's say the frozen style. This knee style. Okay. I'm gonna do the same than in the bulb. I'm gonna give it to this space of the cookie a little bit of dimension, but I'm gonna use some other sprinkles so you can see the difference. And I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna do the outline of the space that I'm gonna flood. Okay. Like this. You have to know, you're gonna know that as much as you practice, but you cannot be cheap with a quantity or icing. You have to put the exact amount that it looks a little fluffy, but it doesn't overflow. How do you make your royal icing shiny when dries? That's another good question. If you help your cookie to dry with either a fan or a dehydrator, the cookie is gonna stay shiny. If you just leave it there, for example, I finish all the decoration and I leave my cookies here, this shiny that I have here in my cookie is just gonna go away. If you want to have your cookie shiny, help it with a fan. Just put a small fan in front of you or the ceiling fan, turn it on, and you're gonna help the cookie, sorry, to dry faster. Okay. There's another question. I always have a hard time trying to use a piping bag. Is there a trick to using one? Yes. I'm gonna show you something now. But before, I'm gonna put this, look, I'm using this little sprinkles that they're gonna look like snow. Let me use one spoon. And I'm gonna just do this. Okay. And then I'm just gonna take away the excess. Look at this. Okay. I want you to see what I'm gonna do now. This that I'm gonna do now is called the wet on wet technique. And I'm also gonna show Cara, I think, yes, how to use the piping bag. First, you have to cut the right amount of the tip, okay? If you cut it too wide or too much, you're not gonna be able to control the icing that goes out, okay? It's better to be cutting than to cut too much, okay? So what I do when I work with piping bags, and I try to hold my hand just with this finger. Look at this. I don't grab the bag with my both hands. I just help me a little bit to stabilize my hand like this. And the other tip that I can give you guys is, if you see when I'm doing the lines, I put my hand up, okay? Nothing is gonna happen. If you keep it down, the line is gonna go with your pulse. So if your hand is shaking, that line is gonna be shaking too. If you wanna show straight lines, just put it here, put your hand up, and look at the beautiful line. Very straight. Look at this. I'm gonna show you here. This one I did it close to the cookie. And this one that you have here, I put my hand up. So there's one trick that you can just try when you're decorating cookies with piping bags. I'm gonna do the flooding now. And with this cookie, I'm gonna show you the wet on wet technique. Right now, it's just a little bit boring stacking. There's not too much going on, but I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna grab my white royal icing, and I'm gonna do lines over the blue one. It's still wet, and they're gonna just go together, both colors. And then I'm gonna grab this, my scribe, and I'm gonna start doing movements from up, down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And I have a totally different cookie now. Okay, that is the wet on wet technique. And with this technique, you can do this and you can do thousands of designs, thousands. The animal print, zebra, cheetah, all those prints, you can do it with this, with the wet on wet technique. I have this one now. I'm gonna do this one, the ornament. This one I'm gonna do it the traditional color. I'm gonna do it red and then some other details in green and white. I'm cutting my bag and look, I always have next to me a paper towel where I can try if I like the white of my opening on my piping bag. It's better to be cutting than cut too much and don't control whatever is going out of the piping bag. If you're trying to do circles in the design as opposed to dots, is there a secret to get them even? Yes, count. I'm gonna show it to you here. You have to count the pressure. For example, if you're doing the little dots, you have to count 1, 2, 3, go up. 1, 2, 3, go up. And that way you're gonna have them all the same size. But I'm gonna show it to you in this design. We're gonna do, this is too small. I'm gonna put it a little bit more. Okay. The circles are the hardest one to do. Okay. If you see, I do the outline with my hand up so I can control wherever the line is gonna go, okay? And when I do the flooding, I go down. Okay. I'm gonna do the whole cookie in red. And then I'm gonna do a very nice design. Okay. There we have. Now we're gonna cover all those small spaces. Okay. With the circles, you have to be careful and try to cover the outside of the cookie so you get it very round shape. Okay, there we have the red, but I'm gonna do, okay, let's do it white. I'm gonna do the same then with the stocking. I'm gonna do just 3 lines here, and I'm gonna go up, up and down, up and down. Okay, look, it looks beautiful now, but for the dots, look how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, go up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that way you're gonna have all the dots the same size. You just have to count. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and go up. And here you have this. Because we're in Christmas, you are allowed to use a lot of sparkling things. And you can find, I believe, in Walmart, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. This that I have here, this is just edible dust, and you can add it to the cookies. That will just give it an extra touch. I'll show you now. So it's gonna look. What I'm gonna do up here, I'm gonna use piping consistency. This that I have here, I'm gonna show it in my hand so you see, is piping consistency. What it means is that if you see, it doesn't go anyway. The shape I put it in my hand, the shape it's gonna stay in the cookie, okay? So I'm gonna use this to do some zigzag shaping here. Oh, wait. I have a piece of sugar in the middle of my piping bag. Okay. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna just do one way to the other way. And we have our ornament ready. If you have green, you can, these lines that you have here, or the wet on wet technique, you can do it in 3, 4, 5 colors. Okay, and just do one line blue, one line pink, one line green, and it's gonna look just amazing. Okay, this one, all right. Is that a small turnable, or did you make your own? If so, how can we make a small? No, it is like it is like a cookie, like the cake ones, but this is a special for cookies. I bought it from, I believe it's LC Sweets they call, but you can just find it on Amazon. There's nothing special. Yes, there's a, look, this is the website where I got it from, lcsweets.com. Okay, what inspired your passion for baking? Well, that is something that just happened. I never cooked. I hated the kitchen, to be honest. I just started it because my husband just told me once, okay, I wasn't doing anything and I'm very active. I'm not a person to be watching TV. I just can't do that. So he told me, well, just do like a baking class so you can just do the cakes for the birthday, for the girls for their birthdays. And I said, yeah, that sounds fun. And I just took 2 classes. After that, it was just like a snowball. It was like I found whatever made me happy. I found the way to express myself, my personality, and what I want to do for the rest of my life. So that's what this is something that I always tell to my students. You have to find the style that is going to make you happy with what you do. You have to put your personality, your style in every design and every creation you make. And once you get to be happy with what you do, it stops being a work and it's just become your passion. I hope I answered that. Did you have a special recipe for your butter cookies? Well, it's just a very simple recipe. It's just butter, sugar, eggs, and just butter essence. That's it. Nothing else. You guys can have or can find my recipe in my virtual academy. That it's unteachable. If you want, I can type it right here in the chat so you guys have it, okay, later before the Zoom ends. Okay, perfect. I think we have all your hands are so steady. No, they're not steady at all. I have very shaking hands, but I learned how to control the piping, okay? That's why I'm telling you guys that you have to do this. I'm gonna show it to you in a white paper so you'll see it better. If I do my lines with my hand, let me put it straight so it doesn't go up. If I put my hand up, look how the line goes. Very straight, and it doesn't show my pulse. If I do it down, it goes everywhere. Look the difference. Look between this one that I put my hand up and this one that I stay close to the napkin, okay? You have to learn how to just be confident. Nothing is gonna happen. Just put your hand up, okay? Nothing is gonna happen. This design, let's do this one. Let's do the Gingerbread Men. This is the most, I think, popular cookie for Christmas. If you see, this is halfway done. If I want that everything that I'm gonna do over my cookie stay in dimension, the base of the cookie has to be dry. So if I do something right now in this one that's still wet, look, still wet, they're gonna just mix together, okay? So if you let it dry, like this one, that is completely dry, you can do stuff on it and it's gonna look in dimension, like what I'm, like something like what I'm doing now. I'm gonna do the dripping for the gingerbread. Okay. Also, if you have a good recipe for the icing, it's gonna be much, much easier than just working with something that you get at stores. Why? The royal icing that you get from the stores, it just goes very, very watery. And when you're gonna try to make the decorations, it just go everywhere. So if you find a recipe that works for you, it's the best way to do it, okay? I'm gonna do something here. Okay, this other consistency that I'm using is the same piping, the same that I used for the ornament. If you see, it doesn't go anywhere. It stays the same way that I put it in my hand, okay? I'm gonna do some dots here for the ginger man. And with the same piping. This is white piping. I'm gonna do some lines here. Some other lines here. Remember, be creative is the best way to decorate the cookies. I'm showing you this, but you can just change it around and do it the way you just want to do it. The eyes, I'm just putting a little bit of the piping and I'm using a little small black sprinkle for the eye. So if you don't have black at home, that's fine. Just use black sprinkle. The mouth, I'm gonna use an edible marker. If you're gonna decorate cookies as a business, this is something you have to have. It's just gonna help you with small details like this one that I'm gonna do here. Okay. I'm gonna add something to our little ginger man. I have some sprinkles here and I'm just gonna put them over his head. Okay. Perfect. Look at this. We have him ready. Okay. What is the tool called that you're using to fill the spaces? It's called Scribe. I'm gonna write it down here if the chat, if you guys want me to. Scribe. And we have another one. Do you need to make the icing thicker for certain parts of the cookie, or is it all the same consistency? No, it is not the same consistency. We have two. I put one over the other one. There's two basic ones, piping and flooding. The piping is gonna give you this, this look, like 3D. And the flooding is gonna be the one that do the base for your cookie. Okay. How long do you let it set to hotter so you can decorate over the fluffy cookie? Okay. If you're gonna help it, the cookie to get drier with a fan, it takes about an hour. But it's gonna be dry just the top of the cookie, just the top. If you go too hard, you're gonna mess it up. For the cookie to be completely dry, it's gonna take about 8 hours, okay? But if you wanna just do something like what I did with the Ginger Man, just wait like about an hour and a half, and then you can do whatever design you want on top of it. Not that they will last long in my house, but after decorating, how long will the cookies stay fresh? Any suggestions for storing? If well, I'm gonna tell you the timing with my recipe. They can stay fresh for whatever time you can imagine. If you're gonna eat them, just wait no more than 3 weeks. They can last good with no problem up to 3 weeks. For the storing, just put it in a container that you can cover and it doesn't have any, that the cookies won't have any air coming in the container. Don't put it close to the sun. Don't put it close to any heat directly to the cookie, okay? I have one question here in Spanish, and I'm gonna translate it and try to answer in both. Porque a veces le sale pecas claras a las galletas al día siguiente de pintarlas. Okay. She's asking me why sometimes the royal icing gets like spots after she paints the cookies. Well, it can be the recipe that you're using for the royal icing, okay? Maybe you should try to change something on it, or it can be the quality of the, oh my goodness, the coloring that you're using, the gel. This one, the food color, this is the best one that you guys can use. You can find it anywhere. Emery color. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. We have one more cookie to decorate, and it's gonna be all of it. It's gonna be with piping. I'm gonna try to do this one fast so we can have some time for some questions. Okay, I'm gonna do just dots around the cookie, and with a stick or a knife, you're just gonna do this. Move your icing up, and it's gonna give it it's gonna show like it's the real tray. Nothing. This technique is very good if you don't have a good pulse. If your hand is not steady, this one is good. I'm just going up, 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 and up. I'm mixing 2 colors. You guys can do it the same color. Just one green. Okay. Try to go with the same shape of the tree of the cookie. And the top. Look. It looks like a Christmas tree. Did you do online cookie classes? If so, how to find you and your schedule? Yes, I do. I do online classes. Right now we have what I call the Sugary-thon. It's a marathon. It's 7 courses or 7 classes that I do in, let's say, 2 weeks. So it's a real good baking marathon. It is Christmas edition. This one that is going on right now, it's in Spanish. You can also look on the virtual academy on Teachable. We have there about 6 classes, not only for cookies, only there's also cakes and some free courses too that you guys can have access to. I'm gonna show you what we did tonight. We did it very fast, very easy. So I want you guys to try it at home, just have fun and try to decorate the cookies for this Christmas. You can add to this tree, we can add some decorations like this one that I use here, that I put some snowflakes. These are just the sprinkles, okay? Just get them at any convenience store or supermarket or anywhere, and you can use those to decorate the tree. Oh, let me see if we have any other questions here. Okay, well, you guys can find in Instagram lots of tutorial about cookie decoration. I always post tutorials. I teach in the stories. I do live almost every single week, giving you tips for decorating cookies. You guys can find me anywhere by the same name, Sugary Times Bakery. And if you have any questions about what we did tonight or any other thing, I'll be more than glad to help you with anything. Thank you.